Welcome to 7 Days of English Channel.
Hi there. Welcome back. Today's story is about something we all wrestle with, whether we admit it or not. Forgiveness. Not the kind you give when someone bumps into you at the grocery store. I'm talking about the deep, messy kind. The kind that sits in your chest for years. You ever held on to something so long it started holding on to you? Well, meet Rebecca. She's a high school English teacher, a mom, a sister, and she's been carrying something heavy for 5 long years, the kind of hurt that doesn't show up in photos but lingers in every silence. But sometimes, life has a way of nudging us, through students, through daughters, through unexpected reminders. This is a story about second chances, not the perfect kind, but the real kind. So grab a cup of something warm and settle in. Let's begin.
I'm Rebecca Alston, age 42, English teacher by trade, coffee addict. This morning I'm in the kitchen wearing mismatched pajamas. Emily would kill me if she saw this. Talking to my coffee like it's a therapist. Emily, my 15-year-old, lies on the couch asleep. I tap her shoulder gently. "Break a leg on that algebra quiz," I whisper, then retreat before she can mutter anything back. I smile. This is our odd morning ritual. I glance at the photo on the fridge, a picture of Mom, Claire, and me at the beach years ago. Claire's grinning on the left, me on the right, Mom in the middle with her arms around us. The photo's edges are curling. I haven't updated it since the day Mom died. For a moment, I think she doesn't deserve these memories, then immediately scold myself, "Rebecca, don't be cruel." I grab my tote bag, papers, pens, a well-worn copy of Merchant of Venice, and head out. The drive to school is my quiet time. I jam to classic rock when an announcer shares a story. 2 sisters who haven't spoken in 20 years finally reunite after their mother's memorial. My foot jerks on the brake. Music skitters to silence. Nope, not today, I mutter under my breath. At the copier, Jenna juggles coffee and papers. She winks and says, "Morning." She dives right into a story about her sister's latest kitchen disaster. Burnt souffle, nearly setting the kitchen on fire. "Remind me to bring a fire extinguisher next time," I joke. Jenna grins. For a moment, I envy that easy bond she has with her sister. By 9 a.m., I'm at the front of my classroom handing out a vocabulary quiz. The students groan. "Settle down, folks. Your vocab skills and my caffeine supply are on the line," I grin. Tony waves his quiz. "Miss Alston, if commas save lives, do semicolons put people in danger?" The room explodes. "Oh no, run for your life. A semicolon is on the loose." I play along, dramatically ducking. They laugh so hard I nearly spill my coffee. For a moment, the ache in my chest fades away. These kids, they're my crew. When the final bell rings, the hallways clear out fast. I shuffle papers on my desk and head out, ready to leave the day behind. Driving home, guilt creeps in as the sky turns orange. Even the radio gets in on it. An advice show jabbering about sibling forgiveness, I switch it off. Enough of that for today. Pulling into the driveway, I see Emily on the porch. She waves and shouts, "Mom barely survived algebra." I grin and hug her, breathing in her familiar shampoo scent. Inside, Emily plops on the couch with her phone and notebook. "Listen to this," she says, reading a poem she wrote about sisters forgiving each other. My heart skips a beat. I force a smile. "That's beautiful, Em," I whisper. For a moment, the evening feels warm and ordinary. Even the spilled chocolate milk can wait till tomorrow. Later, after lights are out, I sit on the edge of Emily's bed, holding that silver locket of Mom's. Emily is deep in dreams, and I'm alone with my thoughts. In the darkness, I finally let myself wonder, what if I call Claire? The idea is terrifying. but maybe tomorrow I'll have the courage. For now, I tuck the locket under my pillow, blow out the light, and sink into the quiet. Somewhere in that silence, something shifts. Maybe this is where forgiveness begins. I didn't sleep much last night. That locket under my pillow, it felt like a brick. I kept tossing and turning, thinking about Claire, about what she said 5 years ago, and what I said back. Morning hits hard. Coffee first, always. But even as the pot gurgles, I already feel that buzz of irritation rising, not at anyone in particular. Just the ache of things left unsaid. I sip slowly, watching steam curl up into nothing. Emily walks in, yawning, wrapped in her oversized hoodie. She plops down at the table. Hey, Mom, can I ask something weird? Depends, I smirk. How weird are we talking? She shrugs. Do you ever miss Aunt Claire? It's like someone slammed a book shut in my chest. I mean, she rushes on. I don't mean to upset you or anything. I don't really remember her. And I've been thinking about how small our family is now. I stare into my coffee like it's going to give me answers. Yeah, I say finally. I miss her sometimes. It's the first time I've admitted that out loud. Emily nods. I think you should call her. I let out a dry laugh. Just like that, huh? Well, maybe not just like that, but I think you want to. And you always tell me not to let anger make my decisions. So, I don't know. I'm just saying what you've always said to me. Touché. At school, I'm distracted. The words on the board look like alphabet soup. I ask the class to free write about someone they've had a hard time forgiving. Not even 10 minutes in, Olivia raises her hand. Miss Alston, can I share mine? I nod, curious. She stands nervous but bold. I wrote about my dad. He left when I was 6. I used to hate him. I mean, really hate him. But last year, I wrote him a letter I never sent. I just needed to say it all, even if he never reads it. It helped. The room goes silent. Then someone claps, then another, and suddenly everyone's clapping. Olivia beams through watery eyes. And me? I'm trying not to cry right there in front of 30 teenagers and a half-erased diagram of poetic devices. After school, I drive past the park near Claire's old apartment. It's still there. The swing set where we used to push each other so high we thought we'd fly right over the moon. I haven't been down this road in years. Back home, Emily's working on a poster for a kindness campaign her school is starting. There's glitter everywhere. She holds up a pink heart that says, "Let go of grudges." They're heavy. I chuckle. That's actually kind of brilliant. Thanks, she says, gluing it onto the poster board. Want to help? So we sit side by side, cutting shapes, making a mess. And I don't say anything about Claire, but I think about writing a letter. Not to send, just to write. That night, when the house is quiet again, I pull out an old notebook. The pages are yellowed, the spine cracked. I write, "Dear Claire." My pen pauses, my heart pounds, and then I keep going. I write until my hand aches. Not a polished essay, not some neat apology, just a mess of truth and grief and memories. When I'm done, I close the notebook and stare at it for a long time. No fireworks, no magic, but something loosens in my chest. Just a little. Maybe this is what healing looks like. Scribbled, unsure, but finally started. The letter stayed in the notebook. I didn't rip it out, didn't fold it, didn't burn it. Just left it there, tucked between yellowed pages like a secret I wasn't quite ready to share. The next morning, I left the house early, told Emily I needed a head clearing drive. That was only half a lie. I wasn't really sure where I was going until I pulled up in front of our old family house. It looked smaller now, like someone had shrunk it in the wash, same red brick, same creaky porch swing. Only now it was faded and sagging, just like the old hydrangea bush beside it. I sat in the car for a while, engine off, window cracked just enough to let in the smell of damp grass and nostalgia. My chest felt tight. Like I was 13 again, about to confess to Mom that I broke her favorite vase. Funny, I always thought time would make all this less raw. But here I was, staring at a house I hadn't entered since the funeral, stomach churning like I'd eaten a whole bag of guilt for breakfast. I didn't go up to the door, just sat there. Then drove off past the street where Claire and I used to race our bikes. She'd always cheat at the last second. Accidentally kicking my tire to pull ahead, I'd scream, she'd laugh, and we'd both end up in the grass, out of breath and blaming each other. We used to be inseparable. People joked we were like peanut butter and jelly, completely different but somehow perfect together. But after Mom passed, it was like something snapped. Claire handled the estate. She said she was just taking care of it. But she sold the house, our house, before I even knew it was listed. Said it was for the best. Said we couldn't afford to drag it out. I didn't say much at the time, just nodded, and then stopped answering her calls. And that silence, it stretched into months, then years. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I kept hearing Olivia's voice in my head. I wrote him a letter I never sent. Maybe that's what I needed to do, not just write, but go back to those memories. Really go back. The next morning, I went up to the attic. Emily was still asleep, so I tiptoed like a ninja, avoiding creaky floorboards. There it was, the dusty plastic bin marked Mom's stuff. Inside, old recipe cards, faded greeting cards, one of Mom's scarves that still smelled faintly like lavender, and then a stack of old cassette tapes. Claire and I used to record our own fake radio shows on those. We'd interview Barbie dolls, stage pretend concerts, even argue in dramatic fake accents. I found an old tape labeled Sister Show, Episode 4. My handwriting on one side, Claire's scrawl on the other. I dug out the old tape player. Miracle of miracles, it still worked. Press play, and suddenly, two high-pitched, giggly voices filled the attic. Welcome back to the Sister Show. I'm DJ Becky. And I'm Queen Claire of everything. Today's topic, why Mom's spaghetti is magic and why Becky can't whistle. I laughed, really laughed, then cried. Those voices didn't sound like girls who'd one day go 5 years without speaking. They sounded like best friends, like family. Downstairs, Emily called, Mom, you okay up there? I wiped my face and called back, yeah, just time traveling a bit. That afternoon, I sat down at the kitchen table and opened my notebook again. This time, I wrote a new letter. Not a rant, not a list of hurts, just a start. Claire, I listened to our old tape today. Remember the Sister Show? You were queen of everything. I think you still are, honestly. Anyway, I miss you. I really do. I didn't finish it, didn't sign it, but this time I didn't close the notebook either. I left it open right there on the table. Like a door, just slightly cracked. It took 3 more days, 3 long, awkward, weirdly emotional days where I kept circling my phone like it was a venomous snake. I'd open Claire's contact, then close it. Write a text, delete it, open it again, sigh, and walk away. Emily finally caught me mid-hover in the kitchen. Just do it, Mom. Do what? I said way too fast. She raised one eyebrow. The eyebrow I swear she inherited solely for judgmental purposes. You're either texting Aunt Claire or trying to summon a demon. Either way, just do it. I groaned. It's complicated. Yeah, she said, biting into a granola bar. That's kind of the point. So I sent the text. Hey, it's been a while. Just wanted to say, I've been thinking about you. Hope you're okay. Then I chucked the phone across the couch like it was on fire and went to wash dishes like my life depended on spotless forks. She didn't reply that day or the next. I tried not to spiral. I tried not to let old wounds ooze open again, but it's amazing how quickly silence can scream. By the 3rd day, I gave up pretending not to care. I told myself maybe that was enough. maybe just reaching out, even if nothing came of it, was the whole point. Then at 11:42 p.m., just as I was about to shut down for the night, my phone buzzed. Claire, hey, I've been thinking about you too. Took me a minute to believe it was really you. I'm glad you wrote. I stared at it so long my eyes burned. I didn't know what to say. I typed a few things, deleted them all, finally just sent, yeah, it's really me. Sorry it's been so long. She responded a few minutes later. A lot's changed. But I've missed you, Beck, so much. Beck. She hadn't called me that in 5 years. I curled up on the couch, tears slipping down my cheeks, phone still in hand. We didn't dive into the deep stuff. Not yet. Just a few more messages. Light, careful, like two people tiptoeing on thawing ice. But the ice didn't crack. Not that night. The next morning, I was humming while making breakfast. Emily looked up from her cereal. You're smiling. That's weird. Thanks, I said, flipping pancakes. Also rude. You texted her, didn't you? I nodded. She replied. Emily grinned so hard I thought her face might split. Yes, I knew it. So when are you going to call her? I froze. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But the idea was there now, a phone call, a real one, with voices and awkward pauses and who knows what. Later that day, I stood in front of my students giving a dramatic reading of Romeo and Juliet. I usually go all in. Fake accents, hand gestures, even a tragic swoon or two. But today, I paused midline. Parting is such sweet sorrow. The words hit me different this time. Because maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end of something. Maybe it was the beginning. It sat in my hand for a full 5 minutes. My phone just sitting there. Screen lit up, Claire's name right at the top. My thumb hovered over the little green call button like it was a trapdoor. Emily walked by, sipping a smoothie, glanced at the screen and said, "Do it." "Stop saying that like it's a Nike ad," I muttered. She just smiled. "Well, just don't not do it," and walked off like some teenage Jedi master. So I did it. I tapped the button, put the phone to my ear, and immediately regretted every life choice that brought me to this moment. 1 ring, 2, 3. Hello? Her voice, softer than I remembered, older maybe, or maybe just tired. I froze. Claire? A pause. Rebecca. Just hearing my name and her voice, it hit me like a punch and a hug all at once. "I wasn't sure you'd pick up," I said. "I wasn't sure you'd call," she replied. Then a laugh, light, a little nervous. "So, here we are." "Yeah," I breathed. "Here we are." Silence. Long, crackly silence. Then Claire spoke first. "I've replayed our last conversation in my head 100 times. So have I. And I wish I'd handled it differently." I swallowed. My throat suddenly tight. I wish I'd said something or anything. Instead, I just shut down. "You had every right to be angry," she said. "What I did, selling the house, I thought I was doing the responsible thing. I didn't think about what it meant to you." "Not really." I sat down slowly at the kitchen table. It wasn't just the house. It was like losing mom twice. Once to cancer and once when you made that decision without me. Her breath caught. I could hear it. I know. And I've hated myself for it every day. I closed my eyes. "I don't hate you, Claire." Another pause. "But you did." "Maybe. For a while. But mostly. I missed you. I miss my sister. I miss dumb inside jokes and your terrible singing and the way you always knew when I was lying." Claire chuckled softly. "You were always a terrible liar." I laughed. A real shaky, teary laugh. We didn't solve everything that night. We didn't map out a grand reunion or start gushing forgiveness like a movie, but we talked about mom, about what the holidays have been like without each other, about Emily. Claire hadn't seen her since she was 10. She's taller than me now, I said. She always had long legs, Claire replied. And just like that, the wall between us started to crack, not crumble, not explode in some cinematic moment, just crack. A hairline fracture that let in a little light. Before we hung up, Claire said, "Would it be crazy if I came up next weekend just to talk more? Maybe have coffee?" I hesitated, my gut twisted, but I heard myself say, "Yeah, I'd like that." When I hung up, Emily looked up from the couch. "You called her, didn't you?" "I did." "And?" I smiled. "She's coming to visit." Emily let out the loudest yes I've ever heard, then hugged me so tight I nearly spilled my tea. Later, after she went to bed, I stood by the kitchen window and looked out into the night. The street was quiet, the sky was clear, and for the first time in a very long time, so was my heart. I vacuumed the living room twice, rearranged the throw pillows like they were sacred artifacts. Then I took the banana bread out of the oven. Even though Claire always hated banana bread, I don't know. It just felt like a welcome home smell. Emily hovered nearby, half excited, half nervous. "What are you even going to say?" she asked. I stared at the clock. Claire was 10 minutes late. My palms were sweating like I was about to go on stage. "I have no idea," I muttered. "Do we hug? Do we talk about the weather or just cry and collapse on the floor?" Emily grinned. "Please don't do the third one. It's super dramatic." Then the doorbell rang. I froze. Emily didn't. She ran straight for the door like it was Christmas morning. And there she was, Claire. Same face, but softer, older around the eyes. She was holding a little paper bag and a nervous smile. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I said back. Emily broke the tension by wrapping her arms around Claire. "Hi, Aunt Claire." Claire teared up instantly. "Oh my gosh, look at you. You're a person now." I laughed. It was the most awkward and perfect thing she could have said. We moved to the kitchen. I poured tea. She handed me the bag. Scones. From the bakery Mom used to love. It was quiet for a few minutes. "I thought you hated banana bread," Claire said. I smirked. "I still do." And just like that, something small but powerful cracked open. The first inside joke we'd shared in years. We talked for a while. Small stuff. Weather, work, Emily's school, Claire's job in Portland. Then, after Emily went upstairs to finish a project, the room shifted. The air got heavier. "I almost didn't come," Claire said. "I almost told you not to," I replied, half laughing. We sat there staring into our mugs. Claire finally said, "I had this whole speech planned about the estate, about why I made that decision." "You don't have to," I said. "I know why you did it. You thought you were protecting me. You've always been the fixer." "But it wasn't my place to fix that alone," she said. "And I hurt you. I know I did." I swallowed hard. "Yeah, you did." She nodded, bracing herself. "But," I continued, "I hurt you too. I disappeared. I let my silence be the punishment. And I think that hurt both of us more than anything." Claire looked at me, really looked. I didn't know how to fix it. The longer it went on, the more impossible it felt. "I know," I whispered. "Me too." The tears came. Not loud, not messy, just steady, quiet drops. We sat in it together, no rushing, no skipping to the happy ending. After a while, Claire asked, "Can I come back next week? Maybe we walk through Mom's things together. It doesn't have to be all at once, just a few boxes at a time." I nodded. "I think that would be good." She smiled. "I missed you, Beck, so much." I reached across the table and held her hand. "I missed you too." Emily came back down later and found us sitting there laughing about some dumb childhood prank involving whipped cream and Dad's beard. And in that moment, the past didn't feel like a chain anymore. It felt like a story, one we were finally ready to finish together. The next Saturday, Claire showed up in jeans and a hoodie, her hair pulled back like we were about to do yard work or rob a bank. She brought donuts. I made coffee. We exchanged a hug that felt more solid this time, less tentative. Then we went up to the attic. I hadn't been up there since the day I found the tapes. The air was thick with dust and the kind of silence that holds stories. We sat cross-legged on the old rug like we were kids again, pulling open boxes that hadn't been touched in years. The first one held winter scarves and photo albums, the kind where the plastic pages crackle when you turn them. Claire picked up a photo of the three of us, her, Mom, and me in matching ugly Christmas sweaters. Claire had a mouthful of braces. I had a bowl cut. We both groaned. "Oh no," she said. "You had the haircut." "I know," I laughed. "Mom said it was practical." "She also said denim skirts would never go out of style," Claire added. We kept flipping through, stopping every few pages to smile, to sigh, to let the ache settle in. Then we hit the box labeled letters. I opened it and found a stack tied together with blue ribbon. Mom's handwriting? "Loopy and clean," marked the envelopes. Some were addressed to us. Some were clearly never meant to be sent. Claire held one up. "Should we?" I nodded. She read aloud. "Dear Rebecca and Claire, I hope someday you'll find these. I know you're both strong and stubborn. You get that from me. But I also know you love each other. And I pray more than anything that one day you'll remember that love more than any mistake or hurt." Her voice cracked. She stopped. I reached over and finished it. Family is a forever kind of messy, but forgiveness is what makes it worth it." We sat in silence, that kind of silence that makes room for something new to grow. Claire wiped her eyes. "Did you ever feel like we were just walking around for years pretending none of it mattered?" I nodded. "Yeah, and pretending was exhausting." She smiled weakly. "Mom was always good at seeing through us. She'd probably be laughing at us right now. Or yelling," Claire said, smirking, "telling us to stop crying on the photo albums." We laughed. A few hours passed, like minutes. We found Mom's high school yearbook, her wedding dress, still neatly folded in a preservation box. Claire held it up and whispered, "She was beautiful." "She was fierce," I added, "and stubborn, like you." "Like us," Claire said. We paused again. Then Claire said something I didn't expect. I kept thinking, if I forgave you, it meant admitting I did something wrong. And if you forgave me, it meant I was right all along. But maybe it's not about being right or wrong. Maybe it's just deciding to love each other more than the anger. I nodded slowly. That's probably the most grown-up thing either of us has ever said. We packed up slowly, setting aside a few things for Emily. Mom's old charm bracelet, a cookbook with notes in the margins, a scarf that still smelled faintly like her perfume. Claire held out the scarf. "You take this one." "You sure?" She nodded. "She wore it every Christmas. It suits you more anyway." That night, Emily came home from a friend's house and saw us on the couch, drinking tea, legs curled up under blankets, talking like we hadn't missed 5 years. She stopped, smiled, and said, "So are we healed now?" Claire and I looked at each other, and we both laughed. "Not healed," I said, "but we're getting there." It's been 3 weeks since Claire first came over. Now, she stops by on weekends. Sometimes she brings scones, sometimes just her sarcasm. Emily adores her, calls her the cool aunt, which I pretend doesn't sting. But honestly, it's kind of true. We're still figuring things out. The scars are there, sure, some deeper than others, but they don't throb like they used to. Last Sunday, we had brunch on the patio. Claire brought old home videos she'd digitized. We laughed until we cried, watching 6-year-old me reciting poetry with chocolate on my face while Claire did cartwheels in the background. And when it got quiet, Claire said, "I never thought we'd get here." Me neither, I admitted. I thought forgiveness meant pretending like nothing happened, but it doesn't. It means choosing to move forward even when it still hurts a little. She nodded. It means letting go of the version of the story where we both had to be right. That night, I sat down with Emily. We were folding laundry. Well, I was folding. She was watching YouTube and occasionally tossing a shirt in the wrong drawer. She looked up and said, "You seem lighter lately." "Lighter?" I asked. "Yeah," she said, like, less sad, less stuck. I didn't know what to say, so I just smiled. That's what forgiveness does, Em. It doesn't erase anything, but it gives you your life back. She paused her video. "So, if I ever mess up big, you'll forgive me too, right?" I laughed. "Depends how big." She rolled her eyes. Wow. Harsh. I grabbed her in a hug before she could escape. "Of course I will. I'll always come back for you. That's what family's supposed to do." After she went to bed, I pulled out that old notebook. The first letter, the angry, messy, tear-stained one, was still there. I thought about tearing it up, but instead, I left it. It was part of the journey. And that's the thing about forgiveness. It's not a single moment. It's not one phone call or one hug or even one letter. It's a choice you make over and over to soften instead of harden, to open instead of close, to move instead of freeze. I know now I wasn't just forgiving Claire. I was forgiving myself for shutting down, for staying silent, for being too proud to admit how much I missed her. There's no perfect ending. There's just now. And right now, things are good. I still talk to Mom sometimes in my head. When I do, I imagine her smiling, probably rolling her eyes and saying, "Took you long enough." She was right about a lot of things, about family, about love, about how banana bread never solves anything, but it doesn't hurt either. So if you're holding something in, if there's a name that tightens your chest, a silence that's lasted too long, let this be your sign. Write the letter, make the call, leave the door cracked open. You never know what might walk through. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you found today's content helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Every click and comment means the world and keeps this channel going strong. See you in the next video.